Good morning. This morning we are going to do a video for the donation koala purse. Okay, I am going to do it out of vinyl. These are both vinyls from My Punk Embroidery. This is the Oops Paisley, and this is, I'll have to look and see what the name is. I can't remember. So anyway, all right, I have my no-show poly mesh hooped, and I'll go do the placement. Okay, it stitched my placement stitch. Now we are going to center our zipper between these two lines. Let me put something under here so you can see. Okay, we are going to center the zipper between or over them, okay? If you don't center your zipper, then you may have problems when you go to zip your bag, okay? So it's very important that you center your zipper. Okay, now let's go do a tack down. Okay, it's tacked it down, my zipper down, and now you would cover this with batting and it'll stitch it down. I am using vinyl today, and so I don't want batting. I don't want it that fat. The vinyl will give me enough cushion, I believe. So, but if you're using fabric, or if you want to use batting just because, you would put that down now, stitch it, then trim it. I'm not using it, so I'm not. So what I am going to do is turn my hoop over. This would be the next step anyway. Take my lining, and your lining goes face down at the top, just at the bottom of the zipper, okay? So you want to tape it here at the bottom of so the seam or the edge is at the bottom of the zipper. Tape it in place. Okay, turn your hoop over. I tape my lining out of the way so it doesn't get in the way like that sleeve just did when I'm putting it in and out of the machine. Okay. Okay, I have my lining taped out of the way, and now I am going to put I'm using vinyl, as I said. I'm going to line my vinyl up right here. I'm going to line it up to the zipper because I'm going to trim it in a minute. Okay, so it will tack down the lining right here, and it'll also tack down your vinyl or fabric. Okay, it's did my stitch across here, and it's also stitched down my vinyl. Now I am going to trim my top right here so it can do the satin stitch. Okay. All right, now I'll send it over and we'll do a satin stitch at the top. Okay, it's did my satin stitch along here, and I'm kind of looking, looks like I have my zipper a little crooked anyway. I think because it had a crease in it, it kind of gave me the false impression of it being straight. But, okay, it also did the placement stitches for the koala's ears. And the reason I don't have it all as one is in case you want a different color ears versus the face. Okay, so I'm going to cover this with it was called parlor paper, I believe. This is the parlor paper from vinyl from My Punk Embroidery. Be right back. Alrighty then. It tacked down the vinyl, and now I'm just going to trim it. So just go around and trim all the ear. Okay, I've trimmed my ear. Now I'll send it over to the machine to do the next step. Okay, it did the satin trim around the ears, and then it did the placement stitch for the koala's face. So I'm going to cover that with my fabric. I'm using the same fabric, or vinyl, and I'll send it over for the tack down. Okay, it tacked it down. Now I'm just going to go around and trim it. Okay, now I will send it over the machine. I think it's gonna do his ears, maybe the inner parts of his ears, and then it'll do this. Yes, it'll do his ears, then it'll do the satin trim. Okay, it did the inside of his ears, it did the satin around his face, and it did the placement for his nose. So now we will cover that with a piece of vinyl and go tack it down. Okay, it's tacked down his nose, and now we're just going to go around and trim it. Okay, now it's trimmed. I'll send it over the machine to do the tack down or the satin stitch around it. Okay, it's did the satin trim around his nose. It's did its eyes, his eyes. So now we're going to untape our lining. If you taped it up, turn your hoop over. Remove some more tape. Pull your lining down, nice and taut. Tape it here, and then go do the tack down. And if you are doing the 6x8 like this, make sure you downloaded the updated 6x8. The original 6x8 didn't have the tack down for the lining. Mind you, you can just do it when you do the rest of the bag, but I like this step. So if you haven't done it, download the updated 6x8. Okay, now it's tacked down my lining, as you can see, and it also did my placement stitch for my purse tab, or my strap tab. So I'm going to put this right here and tape it and go tack it down. Okay, it has tacked my purse tab down. So now we are going to unzip our zipper so we don't forget, or so we don't sew it closed. I'm going to open my zipper and I'm going to tape my little tab down like I always do. Okay, now if you wanted a pocket on the back of your bag, you would put it now and it would go face down right here. Okay, below, well, anywhere below the zipper, and make sure it overhangs a 1/2 inch at the bottom and the sides. But it would go now and it would go face down. I'm not putting a pocket on this. I am just going to put my vinyl face down right here. I'm going to turn it around so it's a little more straight on that end. And go tack it down. Once again, make sure your zipper's open. Let me just remind you, if you're using fabric and you want it a little more heavy duty, you would put your batting down now as well. You would put your batting on top of this and tack it down, stitch it down with this, and then when we come back, you would trim it. Okay, so now if you would have did batting, you would trim it now before you go to the next step. I didn't, so I won't. So now, after you trim your batting, turn your hoop over, and I tried to clean up a little bit of my mess there. Okay, I'm going to remove my stabilizer behind my zipper, okay? I'm going to try to. So this is, I just do it like this. Once again, if you keep your scissors closed enough, it shouldn't catch your fabric, okay? Because you don't want to catch your fabric. Okay, once you have that trimmed, you will take your other piece of lining and place it face down over top of all of this, okay? Or on the back, face down. Make sure it overhangs about 1 inch on the bottom. Tape it in place. And then send it over the machine to do the last step. Okay, it's stitched it all. Now I'm going to go around and remove any tape that I might have still on the bag. Okay, so I'll be back after I get all the tape off and take it out of the hoop. Okay, I've taken it out of the hoop. Now you're going to take your 2 layers of lining, and fold it out of the way and trim the bottom. Okay, I trim mine about 1/4 inch. Okay, then I also take my lining and I cut it to a V to where the end is, the stitch end. Then I'll go around and cut the rest of it, my bag, about 1/4 inch all the way around. All right, so I always cut my corner over there. Hopefully this fabric will turn okay, this vinyl. It's kind of sticky. You know, it wanted to stick together. So now, first off, you're going to turn it right side out between the lining, okay, between the linings. Okay, so let's see if we can do this. This might take a minute. Vinyl's kind of stiff. Let me see if I can get in here and grab hold of the corner and pull it from the corners. Oops, sorry. Push it with my thumbs and try not to rip my lining. So I'll fight with this, okay, and be back. Okay, I managed to do it without ripping my lining, without dropping any cuss words. So let me take and poke out the corners. Use my tool here. Okay, push my corners out, both corners out. Okay. All right, and then down around the bottom. All right, and then we will close our bottom. Close it, glue it, tape it, or sew it, okay? Be right back. Okay, once you've closed your bottom, you are going to turn it right side out from where the zipper is. Depending on how far you opened your zipper, you may want to open it all the way so it doesn't split, break on you, okay? Okay, got it right side out. Let me press out my curves and corners and close my zipper a little bit so I can, close the zipper a little bit so I can press out this corner here. There we go. Press out this corner over here. All right, and there we go. There.